All right, so this is the project I'm working on. We got 2 by 12 cedar planks, so they're 2 inches by 12 inches long. They're planks, and what I've been working on is cutting them down into 1-bys. That is Ruby. The frick, dude? Where are you? What? Jeez. So yeah, I'm cutting them down. Yesterday I cut them in half, so what I did is I ran them through the table saw, but it only could get about 3 inches in on either side, so I had to use the sawzall and cut the middle section, and it left a bunch of high and low spots. You can see right here it's a little bit rough. So I used the hand planer and I planed it down, and then I brought my sander out. I can smooth them out a little bit more if I wanted to. But so that's what I'm working on. One of my planks, it was like the center of the tree, so you can see right here it's like this part was like chipped out. So you can see I cut 3 inches in here. I cut 3 inches in here up to about there. That looks like more than 3 inches. Anyways, I cut here and there, and then I wood glued this down, so hopefully that's dry now. I'm not sure if it is, but I threw some screws in along there and along this side, and I used this clamp and this board to keep it down while the glue dried. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'll set up on some sawhorses, and I'll use the sawzall, and I'll just cut that center again. It took me like 40 minutes to do 2 planks over there. But yeah, we'll see how far I get and whatever. But all right, time to set up. Okay, so looks like the center right here is a little bit wet still, and it looks like it's a little rotten, which is a bummer. So I might just cut another one and not use this board, because I have 3 more I can choose from. I'll set up the table saw and cut that. You know, I think I'll do that. That's what I'll do. Put you back up here. And start the time lapse. So I kind of messed it up. Oh, the saw blade wasn't completely in the middle. It must have gotten like bumped while I was sitting there or something like that. I don't know. So I cut. So I cut one right here on this side, and I cut another over here on this side, and then it kind of did that in the middle. It like they were off by like a blade's width, and so I cut it exactly in the middle this time, and then it made this sliver, which is kind of cool looking. You can kind of see the blade marks from the table saw. That's a bummer, but hopefully it won't make too much of a difference. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting it down to replace this door. These rotten door panels falling off. I'm gonna make them vertical like this side. So yeah, I have that cut. This one doesn't have any splits on the end, so maybe now I will cut them. I'll cut it with the sawzall, so we'll see how that goes. Hey, dead battery. So, yesterday I had to stop because I had to go to Sally's birthday, pick her up and that and stuff, and so I only got, I think, halfway through the board. I think I got to like right here or something. So, I will continue. So I finally got it apart after like 40 minutes of sawing. And this is what it looks like. We got all of that. And it's all uneven and stuff from the saw. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the hand planer and I'll plane it down smooth. And then you'll get to see that. I'll set the camera. Alright. So this is my stand of a bendable tripod, so I just hung it there. That's what I've been using. The hand planer. It's got a blade right there that spins. You can't see the belt. And the saw just comes out of there. So it's flat, and so all you gotta do is just run it along, and that knob right there, you twist it, and it adjusts how deep the blade will cut. And so it was like this. I just dropped the cap down there somewhere. Was like that. You can see the ridge, and on both sides from the table saw, and then that's the center where the sawzall cut. Now I used the hand planer, and I took down most of it, but this one was a really deep cut right there, and so I couldn't get that smooth or flat or whatever, but I got most of it, so that's good. Now I just gotta go over it with the sander, and I can get the rest of most of this stuff off. I think I have 80 grit on my sander over there, so I'm gonna do this side. But maybe I'll keep the camera on video. You can see me do it in regular time for a second. and then I'll switch back to time lapse and put it on my tripod over there. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see I kind of took that down. There's a little groove here still, but it's not like it's over here anymore. This is really aggressive, but this is a lot smoother. Yeah, it did a good job. Alright, I'll just continue doing that, I guess. Put you back on the tripod and continue watching it. Oh, I almost dropped it. Okay. There we go. I sanded this one down after planing it, so you kind of see the after before, you know. This one had the deep groove right here, and this was the other side. It had another deep groove. I don't know if it has anything to do with each other, if I flip them around or not, but got my knife and I just kind of cut that out. Hopefully it won't be too big of a deal. Doesn't matter though, because I'm going to be using this side. I'm going to leave it rough. I'm not going to sand it or anything. I'm just going to slap it on that and call it good. But yeah, I'm going to sand this side down, and then it won't be all rough and everything. It'll be smooth. Then after that, I'll be done and I'll put it on the door. So let's finish sanding. All right, so I got it all sanded, smooth, and everything. I think let's see, are these them? Yeah. So I have two here. Oh wait, no, that was the broken board from yesterday. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'll slap them on there. I'm gonna change the battery out because it's dying. But I'll do a time lapse of me tearing off and putting on. And it's raining outside, so I will put my rain jacket on and do it in the rain. Fun. It's kind of raining. It'll probably get the lens all blurry, and that's not fun. Yes, this is nails, so I'll get the pry bar and a hammer. Look at, it's barely hanging on there. All right. I'm gonna clean up here, and then I'll slap it on the door here. Time lapse. So here's what I got going on. We're using the rough side out, like I said earlier. I started the screws, I didn't screw them in, just so it's easier. So I did 2 screws on the bottom, 2 screws on the bottom, 2 in the middle, and then 2 at the top. And I left it long at the top. I'll come back and cut it. I'm not sure if I want to leave it covering that rail or not. I don't know. The other ones don't. That looks ugly anyways. So I had to put some spacers, this 1/2-inch plywood. I had to put spacers there so that it matched the sides, otherwise it looked kind of weird. But I also reattached, I put screws in this metal strap, and what I'm going to do afterwards, I'm going to get some shorter screws, and I'll just screw them from the back, and that should keep it really rigid because it's metal. Then let's see, that's pretty much all I'm doing. It was fun taking the gross stuff off. It was really rotten. It was kind of easy. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got going on. I'll just continue doing it, I guess. I just figured I'd stop and give an explanation of some sort. And I put 2 screws in the bottom here and on the other side as well, just to keep it, because it kept rolling on me as I was taking the boards off. So yeah, I think it looks cool, I guess. I don't know. I guess rain will get through the cracks no matter what, but whatever. Well, I'll continue that. Once I get to the end, there'll be a board that probably sticks off, and I'll just take my skill saw and chop the stuff that is hanging off. Check this out though, this is so dumb. This is my skill saw. Right there, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see something broke off right there. There used to be a little thing that came out and like was helped guide where the center of the blade is, but it broke off. I have no idea where it went. I was kind of sad about that. I don't know. All right, well, I'll get back to putting this stuff up. It fell down, dang it. All right, so it's raining. Keep putting my jacket on, taking it off. It's done. Yay. Step back. Yeah, so I had a couple complications. I took this last board off because I forgot to unscrew this screw, but now that I cut the end of this board off, I realized I could just taken it off afterwards. Anyways, so I put the handle back on. Oh, I used an extension. I just used like, here, I'll show you. I used this thing as a spacer. So you put the bits in there and that goes into your, it's like an adapter or an extension or something. I just use this end as an adapter. That's about 1/4 inch. So there's a 1/4 inch gap in between each of them. So yeah, that way it has room for, if the wood swells at all, it'll, you know, do that thing. So I had a couple complications up here. These things were, okay, these things, they're like the clips that hold up the rail so that the barn door can slide. But there was, that one right there, and then that one over there. They were bent out and the boards were rubbing on it, and I left them long so that I could cover that up. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have done that, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so I screwed a screw in through the front side all the way through, and then I hit it with a hammer, and that pretty much bent them back in, and now it works fine. And the only problem is that there's like metal shavings and kind of junk in the rail where the barn door wheels will slide. And that's a bummer because now every time I try and close it, it'll get stuck in one spot. And then you can continue closing it. But over time, those will flatten out, and then there will be no big deal. Closes all the way. Nice. There you go. There's the barn door project. Now to finish it up, what I gotta do, let me grab my light. This is a little setup I had for the GoPro because it was raining and I want water on the lens and I had to charge it, so that's my charger right there. Okay, in we go. Now what I gotta do is I gotta put a screw in each one of these holes to lock everything together, and so this thing won't move at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna turn on my light though because it's dark in here. All right, set this thing up right there. That's good. All right. All right, I didn't screw all of them. I just screwed like one right there, three per board usually is what I kind of did. And this is kind of stinky, look at that, it pokes through all the way. Now there's all these screws going all the way across, just sticking out. But they're not like, I'm not a professional, whatever. So, go to the outside, ugh, come on. You can see, yeah, see, some of the screws poked through all the way. And yeah, there's a bunch of screws that poked through actually. I don't know what I'll do with that. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not gonna leave it like that. I might just go to Ace to get some shorter screws. Or I get the grinder and just like grind the tips up, then that'll leave marks on the wood and that won't be good. But that's the barn door. All of that sawzawing and stuff for that. But look at it now, looks good. Cedar, so over time it'll match the rest of the color. I could either do that, or I could leave it, or I could just put some steel wool in some apple vinegar, let that sit for a day and then spray it, and then it'll gray just the same color. Or I could leave it. I don't know. Well, there you go. My barn door project. Barn door. All right, now I gotta go power wash the house. I almost forgot to record. So I went to Ace today and I got some 16 or 9/16 long inch Phillips panhead low profile screws. And what I got those for, because on this metal strap here, you can see I started already and I forgot to record. But these are 1 inch and I think they're 1 1/4 inches. And if you see, they kind of stick up a little bit. That one not so much, but some of them do. And these are more low profile, which is nice. And on the other side, you can see they kind of stick out, and that's not good. All the way down there. I was opening the barn door the other day and I put my palm down to, you know, help try and, because when I pull on it, it comes out a little bit. So I put my hand there to stop it from swinging out and I stabbed myself. So I'm taking those, taking these screws out, the star, and putting in these Phillips that are shorter and they don't poke through. And I'm just gonna go through and do all of them. I got all those to do, and I put it on a selfie stick, so now I can screw the selfie stick onto my tripod, and then it'll be higher up. Let's see how that goes. All right. So, I think when I was describing, how about these on? Oh, these are all on now. Let's see. Try one more time. There we go. So I got all of them on. Looks really good. All the way through. But as you can see, these screws are still sticking through. I think I used 3-inch screws, and they stick through like that. Probably should get my 1.5 inches, but I have my 1.25 inches here right now, and if I sink them in far enough, then I think they'll grab and it'll be fine. I just need it to suck in a little bit. So I'm going to take those and I'll take these middle screws out and replace them and see how that goes. I'll throw it back into time-lapse mode. All right, I finished, and I fixed 2 things, I think. Well, let's see. I replaced each screw. I was gonna, so the 1.25 inches were too short. I couldn't do it with them, so I found these 2-inch screws there. Those work perfectly fine. Got each one of them in there as tight as I could. Doesn't poke through the other side. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, it was like really hard to open earlier, and now I can do it with one hand, and it's not a big deal. And it's because this clip right up there, I tightened it too tight and it was pinching on the wheels, and it made it really hard to open and close. So I took this flat bar and just put it in the groove right there, and I just twisted to the side and it opened it wider. So yeah, that closes perfectly fine. Yep, and there's nothing that will poke through except for splinters of wood that'll get you. On the bottom, there's like barely stuff that pokes through, but you can hardly see them. These poke through a lot, but that's not a problem. I think I'm done. Yeah, there's the barn door. And I left it long so it hides the rail a little bit. So there you go. Asher's barn door project.